Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today it's gonna be a very special video because I will be remaking my very first DIY student visa to Canada video. If you guys have been around for 2 years, you'd know that my very first video is me explaining how I got my DIY student visa application to Canada.
I'm going to be talking about how to get a study permit to Canada on your own or DIY without an agency.
We've come a long way. I've been in Canada for 2.5 years now, and I'm very fortunate that I'm now in my PGWP and working full-time and about to apply for my PR next month. So thank you guys so much for all your support and love. I love reading all your messages about how my videos have helped you get your student visa application, and that's exactly my purpose for this video for our new subscribers. Before we get started on the requirements, I would just like to explain about the student pathway. So a lot of people take the student pathway to Canada to get their permanent residencies. Once you've studied here in Canada for 1 year or 2 years, you're now eligible to get your PGWP, which is your postgraduate work permit. And you can get this for 1 year or a maximum of 3 years. After you've worked full-time in Canada for at least a year, you are now eligible to apply for your permanent residency. So it goes from student permit, postgraduate work permit to permanent residency. So that's why a lot of people chose the student pathway. The first thing I would like to talk about is the 2 ways that you can get your student visas, which is the regular stream and the student direct stream. I want you guys to know the difference between the two so you can weigh which one is best suited for you to take. So for me, I took the regular stream. So usually in the regular stream, you need to show more proof of financial support, and IELTS is not required. It could take more processing time. So when I say that in the regular stream you need to show more proof of financial support, is because you would need yours or your sponsor's bank statements, and you would need an affidavit of support. In your bank statement, you need to accommodate, or it needs to show in your bank account or your sponsor's bank account that you have enough money for a 1-year stay in Canada. So the 1-year stay in Canada is 10,000 Canadian dollars. That's approximately 400,000 pesos. Plus, you need to show that you're able to pay your tuition fee as well. So in the regular stream, before you apply for your student visa, you do need to pay a 1 year or at least 1 semester tuition before you apply. And you need to show proof of that. So whatever is remaining of your tuition fee that you haven't paid, it needs to show in your bank statement or your sponsor's bank statement. The second thing in the regular stream is IELTS is not required. If your school or your program does not need IELTS, then you don't have to take IELTS. However, I always encourage my viewers to still take their IELTS even though it's not required, just in case, or just in case there's a possibility that when you come to Canada, you will need it. For example, if you take a certain course and they may ask you to take additional English requirements, or if you are applying for a job, they might need that as well. So it's still important to get your IELTS even though your school doesn't require. The last thing about the regular stream, it takes more processing time. That's why now they implemented a new stream, which is the student direct stream. The student direct stream, basically the difference is the money that you're showing in your bank account, you would need to take out and pay to a Canadian bank and get a GIC, or a guaranteed investment certificate. And that is now your proof of financial support. So in the student direct stream, you don't need to show bank statements or affidavit of support because you're now taking that amount and paying it to a Canadian bank. And that would be your proof of financial support. And just to let you know that this money that you're paying to Canadian bank, the bank is now budgeting it to your expenses when you come to Canada. Approximately 900,000 or 1 million pesos is the money you need to take out of the bank and pay to a Canadian bank for you to get your GIC. So that's the difference between the regular and the student direct stream in terms of financial support. So in the regular stream, that money is staying in your or your sponsor's bank account, and you would need your bank certificate or your sponsor's bank certificate to show money. In the student direct stream, you're taking that amount, taking that out, and paying it to a Canadian bank to get your GIC. And the GIC is now your proof that you're gonna submit as your financial support. Also in the student direct stream, IELTS is required. So whether or not your school is requiring IELTS, you still need to take the IELTS and score a 7.5 band score if you take the student direct stream. So IELTS is a requirement if you take the student direct stream. The last thing is the student direct stream was implemented for students to come to Canada faster, because now you're paying for your 1 year stay in Canada and into a Canadian bank account, and you have an IELTS. So they say that it'll be faster. However, I would not like you guys to think about the processing time, because based on my experience and my friend's experience, there are some instances that the regular stream is faster than the student direct stream. So it really just depends. It depends on the Canadian embassy. So don't think about the processing time. I just want you to think about the main differences between the two. In the regular stream, you need to show proof of financial support, which is your bank statements and bank certificates of you or your sponsor, and that money stays in that bank account. In the student direct stream, you don't need to show bank statements or bank certificates, but the money from your bank account or your sponsor's bank account is pulled out and paid to a Canadian bank, and you will get a GIC, or a guaranteed investment certificate, as proof of financial support. The second thing is, in the regular stream, IELTS is not required. In a student direct stream, IELTS is required, and you need to score a 7.5 band score. And then the last thing is the processing time. So regular stream is more processing time. Student direct stream is less processing time, but I don't want you to think about the processing time. So yeah, so that's the difference between the regular stream and the student direct stream. Now we can talk about the requirements, and these requirements are based on my experience, and I took the regular stream pathway, so these are in accordance to the regular stream. However, the requirements are very similar to the student direct stream, so you might as well use this information for which stream you're gonna take. So let's get started on the requirement. First requirement is your passport. I want you guys to make sure that your passport has a 10-year validity before you apply for anything, because you will need to use the same passport number for all your documents and all your applications. And when you get here to Canada, you're going to be applying for your PGWP and your PR, so it's best that your passport is valid for that span of time. So make sure you renew your passport before you apply for your student visa. The second requirement is 2 passport size photos. The passport size photos needs to be a white background, and your face has to be neutral. If you want to check the exact dimensions of the passport size photos, you can check it online. But along with your passport is 2 passport size photos. The third requirement is your letter of acceptance, which is probably the very first thing you want to get before you apply for your student visa. Choose your school, choose your program, and apply to get your letter of acceptance. The fourth thing is what you can use to apply for your letter of acceptance, which is your official transcripts and diplomas. So you will need your high school diploma, your college diploma, your TOR, and your Form 137. You can use these things to apply for your letter of acceptance when you choose your school and program, and you also need to submit these things together with your student visa application. So number 4 is your official transcripts and diplomas. Number 5 is proof of financial support. This is where you gather your or your sponsor's bank certificates, bank statements, and if you have sponsors, affidavit of support. So you can have a maximum of 3 sponsors. All their money can equal to the 900,000 to 1 million pesos we were talking about as show money. They don't each need to have that amount. All their money can equal that amount. The same if you have 2 sponsors. All their money can equal to that amount but you can have a maximum of 3 sponsors. And the sponsors do not need to be a relative. It can be a close family friend or anybody who would want to support you, as long as they sign an affidavit of support, and the affidavit of support needs to be notarized and signed by the sponsor. So number 5 is your proof of financial support. Number 6 is your marriage license if you're married. Number 7 is your NBI or police clearance. I don't know how it works with other countries, but in the Philippines, we do need to submit our NBI clearance and our police clearance together with our student visa application. Next one is your medical form or your certificate. This is also one of the first things that you should get. A lot of people wait until the embassy asks them or requires them to get a medical certificate, but for me, I suggest you do it before so that they don't have they don't have to ask it from you and prolong your process. You already have it, and if there's anything wrong or they need to follow up on something, you can right away do that. So one of the first things is the medical certificate, because it does take a while for the clinic to send your results to the Canadian embassy. So I suggest you do your medical certificate before you even apply for your student visa. Just get it. It will be very beneficial if you have it already, and they don't have to ask for it from you. So medical certificate or your medical form. The next thing is, if you're working, you should get your certificate of employment or your ITR. If you're working, there's a high approval to get a student visa. It's not required because you don't have to have job experience to apply for a student visa, but it is a very helpful document if you have been working. So get your certificate of employment if you can. The next one is your IELTS, and I already said in the regular stream you don't need to take IELTS, but to be safe and just to have it, I'm telling you guys, just get all these documents so you would have no problem here in Canada. Even if your school doesn't require, it's a good idea to still take your IELTS. Even if you're doing the regular stream like me, it's still a good idea to take your IELTS, because you never know what's going to happen here and what they're going to require from you when you get here. You don't even have to score the highest, but at least you have an IELTS. The next requirement, and probably the most important requirement, is your study plan or statement of purpose. So your study plan is basically a long essay introducing yourself, explaining why you want to study in a certain school, why you want to study in Canada, why you want to take this specific course, and what's your intention here in Canada. Are you a genuine student? That is a very important question to have a study plan, because when you apply for a student visa, they don't have an interview. So this essay, this study plan is basically explaining everything. Every question that comes up in the head of the consul officer must be answered in your study plan. And you must make it really clear and precise, and make sure you mention that you are a genuine student. This is very important, and this is where you're gonna attach all your requirements, and basically you're explaining all your requirements. I'm gonna do a whole other video explaining how to make a good study plan, because it's the most important requirement. Anything else, if your study plan is not good, everything else is gonna go to waste, because the focus will be on your study plan. So it's very important that you make a very good study plan. I will make a whole other video for that. Comment down below if you want that to be the next video. We'll work on that together. Anyways, the next requirements are now your application forms. You would need your IMM 1294, which is your visa application form, your IMM 5645, which is your family information form, and if you have a common law partner, your IMM 5409, which is a statutory declaration of common law spouse. Yeah, so that's basically the requirements that you need to gather when you apply for your student visa. So let's say them again one more time, or read it over here. Number 1 is your passport. 2 is 2 passport size photos. 3 is your letter of acceptance. 4 is your official transcripts and diplomas. 5 is your proof of financial support. 6 is your marriage license. 7, your NBI or police clearance. 8, your medical form or certificate. 9 is your certificate of employment. 10 is your IELTS. 11 is your study plan, and 12 is your immigration forms, which is the IMM 1294, the IMM 5645, and the IMM 5409. So those are the basic requirements of a student visa. If you can gather all these requirements, then you can now apply for a student visa. However, there are next steps to that, which will be discussed in our next coming videos. Okay, so now that you guys know the basic requirements, go out there and gather these requirements and tune in for the next videos to figure out what you should do next. It's not a long process. We just need a little effort and we will get where we need to be. I promise you guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. I will be posting again really soon. I don't have a timeline for you guys because I am a busy bee, but I am trying my best to do these videos and do them in the order that you guys can understand so that your process in your student visa can go smoothly. But yeah, thank you, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think of the video and what you want to see next. Really had fun doing this video. I'm gonna have more fun doing the other videos for you guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe and tell all your friends. Share this video if you like, and see you next time. Bye guys.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a Q&A video. I'm going to be answering 5 questions that you guys have been asking me, and I'm really sorry that I haven't gotten to any of that, but I'm so excited to do this video for you so your questions are finally answered. Let's go! So I'm just walking around Millennium Park. It's really beautiful, and we're going to go sit down and do the video. See you guys!